nepotism. Or as we know it in our Middle East Arab world, wasla is a word that you cannot escape from no matter where you go. I don't think any other word in the Arab world holds as much weight as this word does. And the fact that it is so spread everywhere is a disaster. I think it is time for us to find a solution for this problem and stop ignoring it and treating it like it's the norm.
Problem? I'm sorry. Are you trying to say that helping a friend or a loved one that is in need of a job or an opportunity after spending so much time and effort to find something where they can make a living, are you saying that that's a problem?
Mr. Satan, you always do this. You always try to make it seem like you're taking the high road and you're trying to make everybody help each other. I think you did the same thing when we talked about cheating. But there is a fundamental difference between helping others and taking what is rightfully someone else's. Just like cheating, when you are helping your friend, as you put it, you are taking someone else's right away. Nepotism is no different, and I would argue it's even more severe, and it's actually a form of cheating, just a more advanced form. You are taking a position that is rightfully someone else's, a position that could have played a fundamental role in someone else's life, that could have provided for them, for their family, for their friends, for their loved ones, and you're giving it to somebody just because you know them. How is that fair? How is that helping people?
Oh, I love it when you human beings speak of rights. It makes me giggle sometimes. Well, let's speak of rights then, because you say that someone that is other than whoever I refer to my job as my friend or my family member, someone else is rightful of that position. Rightful based off of what? In what system are we speaking of? Because as of today, in the world that we live in, again, I'm afraid I'm going to have to pop your bubble of Disneyland and get you back on your feet into the real world. Everybody helps the people that they know. So in reality, if you don't help your friends, if you don't help your family, they will just be trampled over. Because in the world that we live in, unfortunately, perhaps not, everyone helps the people that they know. So when you speak of rightful, I know you think you're always on some form of moral roller coaster that's always at the top. But in reality, you're just taking opportunities away from the people that have supported you throughout your childhood, throughout your adult life, because you think you're on some moral high ground.
Well, Mr. Satan, you love to make it look like we have no other choice, don't you? Because then it's just easier for you to push us a certain way. But there is a choice. Meritocracy. Hiring people based on their merits, based on the skills and value they have. Do they suit this job? Do they have the skills necessary for this job? Would they perform well for this job? Do they have enough experience? Do they have enough potential? That's how we're supposed to choose our employees. If I run a garage and a businessman comes along and goes like, why don't you hire me in your garage? I shouldn't give him the job even if that was my brother. He knows nothing about cars. I'm going to end up with somebody who's ruining everybody else's cars, putting oil where water should go. How does that even make sense? Meritocracy is the system we're supposed to be depending on for many reasons, starting with incompetence, just like the example I just mentioned. When you hire somebody not based on merits, not based on the skills they have, but hiring them based on the fact that, oh, I know this person, or this person is my friend's son, this person is my brother, this person is my cousin, what we end up having is incompetent people at vital positions. You end up having engineers who know nothing about what they're doing in places that are crucial to the country. which would result in ruined projects and ultimately people's welfare going to doom.
Meritocracy. Let's put those big words on the side. I don't know why you always try to complicate things for human society, but in reality, we're much more simpler than you like to paint us in. I mean, such words. I like the word incompetence. That kind of gets my senses tickling because incompetence is honestly very, very fun to play around, especially when it's
I'm
spread.
sure you do.
It's when it's spread like a plague in your society. You guys. Oh, never mind. So you speak of meritocracy and the importance of sticking to hiring someone based off of their abilities and competence and whatnot. Again, lots of fancy words, but what about your relationships with your close ones? Don't you think that we're on some form of attention as well? I mean, we're living in this horrible capitalist society where all we're supposed to do all the time is have things become more efficient, have things become more productive. But we're losing our relationships with our loved ones and our closed circle. At what price? All for the sake of what you think is a measure of productivity. So what? The return on investment of your company increases by 5 or 10%. Is that really worth more than having a healthy, sustainable relationship with your brother that you hired at the company because of your power and your position?
Excuse me for laughing, Mr. Satan, but I just find it hilarious that this is coming out of you, the person who a few talks ago put so much pressure on the importance of how efficient our society is. And now you're trying to say that you care for human relationships? Well, let me tell you this. We don't build our human relationships based on how many favors you have done for me. Unlike you, we do it out of the goodness of our hearts. We don't need you to give us something in return, like to prove to us that you like us. Mr. Satan, just because my brother needs a job doesn't mean I give him a job he's not good at. I look for the skills he's good at and be like, okay, you are qualified in this, you have experience in this, and I direct that person to the proper job opening. I am not saying that we ultimately say, you know what, I am not going to hire anybody I know, anybody I have a relationship with, just because I have a relationship with them. What we're pointing out is the importance of merits. That's what meritocracy means. You need somebody who knows how to do their job. A job is not just a title that you get and then you get money for. A job is something that you're actually going to have to work in. What about all the products that are going to be coming out of this person that you hired just to keep your aunt happy or to keep your relationship with your friend going on? This is how corruption starts, and this is another bad side effect of nepotism. This is how we end up with whole systems, whole countries not being able to run a proper democratic society or any other type of society because corruption has spread too far. I see you smiling. I presume that makes you happy.
You know, you're starting to really get on my nerves. The world is inherently corrupt. You need to stop misleading people. We don't live in a fairy tale.
Thanks to you.
Thanks to people, I only guide them to the right path. The world is corrupt. What you speak of can exist, perhaps, if you have this wonderful idea of a just and equal world of opportunities. But that's not where we live.
My just and equal world of opportunity would be possible if it wasn't for people adopting your way of thinking. You keep pointing out the fact that I don't live in Disney World and I don't live in a perfect world. We are not suggesting a perfect world. However, the reason why we're not even living in a decent world is because of people like you. People who keep telling people that achieving something that is reasonable is way too imaginative and this is not going to happen and this is never going to happen. This is why people keep taking the easy road out, your road out. Doing the right thing has never been easy. However, if we want to ensure that our society is no longer corrupt, that we no longer suffer of incompetent people in the wrong place, and that we continue growing, we need to do that for one simple reason. Hiring people based on nepotism is just going to hinder our growth. We're going to have no professionalism because we are just favoriting people based on not on their skills, based on our personal relationships with them. That leads to incompetence, and incompetence leads to corruption, and the circle keeps going on.
I'm gonna find out
No
where
words?
you live. I'm gonna
You already know that.
I'm gonna track your friends down, and I'm gonna make sure that they never get a single job in their life.
Mr. Satan, you hurt me. I thought we were friends. You're gonna fire your own self.
Until next time,
Are we
friend.
not friends?